Hello and happy Tuesday. Super excited that you're joining me today in my studio for our paper crafting class. My name is Wendy Lee, and you can find me at CreativeLeeYours.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in the US. We have some fun stuff today. Well, I think a super adorable card is a great way to start off our week. Yes, I think so. We will get to that in just a moment. Let's see what's going on. I have registration open right now for my holiday catalog, paper and ribbon share. So that registration is closing on the 5th of September. So don't miss out on that. You can find that on my website, CreativeLeeYours.com. And if you go to the events area, you can see that. Now, if you're on my email list, you will get emails about everything I've got going on. So definitely join my email list if you're not already on there. That way you're in the know of everything that's going on. So I do also gift a tutorial bundle out to my email list every single month. New projects that are fantastic. So you don't want to miss those, right? Right. No, don't want to miss those at all. Hey, Susan. Hey, Trisha. Oh, good. I'm so glad you're here. And Sherry. Oh, good. Lots of people jumping in. I love it. Love it. Let's see what else is going on. I've opened registration for bingo. We'll talk about that in a minute because the project we're creating today is going to use our featured stamp set for our next Stampin' Bingo and card class. And then, of course, I have a little bit of a sneak peek behind me. I'm not going to show you too much. Of our next Cultivated Creativity, a DIY paper crafting kit. So we are featuring the Pick of the Patch bundle, which you guys haven't seen yet, right? Well, maybe you've seen it if people are demonstrating with it, but that is new product that's going to be in our holiday catalog. So good stuff coming our way. All right, let me switch over and let's start our crafty fun. Now we'll see if this works out well because I didn't set my camera up ahead of time. Could be bad, we'll see. Sweet, I got lucky. Love it when it all sort of works out, right? Maybe not totally straight and good, but pretty good. So today's project is going to feature the Bird's Eye View stamp set. This is so stinking cute, just adorable. And I love all the different things that you can do. So I think that's supposed to be a monocle. But I think it could also be a balloon if you're a little, subjective in how you look at things. And then we've got our branch, our books, our leaves, our different glasses. I love it. So these are some really smart birds. I love it. So I'm pairing today's project with the So Sincere stamp set. So this is a new one that we're going to see in the holiday catalog that comes out starting September 6th. I love this. This is one of our $1 Million Achievers stamp sets and great fonts. Great sentiments, super versatile. So this is definitely one you're going to want to have on your list. So right now, as a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, we can pre-order everything from the holiday catalog. So if you cannot wait until September 6th, or you just like getting your items at a discount, definitely hit me up. We will get you started on my Diamonds team so you can take advantage of all the perks. You can put new products right in your starter kit right now if you wanted to. Oh yes, love the Pick of the Patch. It's so fun. I love it too. I didn't pull that one out to show you, but okay, what are we making today? Today we're going to make this stinky cute, and it's so sweet project. And one of the things we're going to talk about today is keeping things simple with Stampin' Blends. So sometimes we can look at stamp sets like this Bird's Eye View. Let me bring that back in. And we're like, oh, it's so cute, but I don't want to color all that. Well, the point of today's project is to show you that you don't have to do a lot of coloring. You can adjust a touch of color if you want to and still have an adorable project without having to, spend lots and lots of time coloring. Okay, so let's get started on this super cuteness. And then, of course, we brought the design to the inside. I love to do that. So we'll slide this over to the side. Let's start with our stamping. So I've got a scrap of white paper. Now, after the video is over, I will go in and I will update the links. We'll add in the links so that you have all that you need. Let's see, my light seems maybe a little too bright today. Better? I want you to be able to see. I know something I might need to do. Let's see if I can fix some settings here to see if you guys can see this a little bit better. Let me try that. Better? I think that's a little clearer. We'll go with that. Hopefully you guys can see it clear as well. All right. So where was my head? All right. Well, we'll just jump in because I don't remember. Gotta love that, right? When that happens. So where did I put the black ink pad? Memento black. I need some Memento black ink. Let me grab that. We'll get started with our cute little images. So I've got my Memento black and just a scrap of white. Oh, I know what I was telling you. After the video, I will go in and put in all the links, right? So you'll have everything you need to be able to grab the supplies to recreate this project. If you'd like to purchase them, there'll be links right to my store. And then you'll also have the cut dimensions, and I'm putting in both Imperial and metric today. All right, so we're gonna stamp this super cute birdie on here, just in Memento black, and then I'm gonna do 3 sets of these leaves. We're gonna do a fussy cutting today. This just screamed it needed to be fussy cut to me. It doesn't have to be, but I think it's so cute when it is. Okay, so when we color this, now you could do a lot of different techniques with this. I've chosen to go Stampin' blends because it's so fast, but you could watercolor if you wanted to. If you did watercoloring, I would probably do this on a heavier weight cardstock. This is just our basic white. I would probably use the watercolor paper, and then I would heat emboss it with black powder versus using the Memento. Memento is going to bleed if you get it too wet. And stays on. I don't like to use with photopolymer stamps. I don't know about you guys, but I am not a fan of that. So I try to avoid it. All right, so I'm gonna start with my leaves. I'm using the dark soft sea foam, and I'm just gonna lay in. I like the bowl tip. I like to work with the bowl tip, but I'm just gonna lay in just a little bit of color right in the middle here. Nothing too extravagant. You know, we could do a ton of shading, but I just want a touch of color in here. Okay. Now, if that harsh line bothers you, you know, this is such a soft color, you really don't see it. But if it bothred you, we're going to bring in the color lifter. I rarely use my color lifter, to tell you the truth. But you can kind of use that to soften those lines if that bothers you, right? And kind of blend that out a little bit more. So the color lifter, while it's called a color lifter and it does lift some color, it doesn't take away all color, right? It just doesn't. So I don't know what's in it, magic juice. So now that's blended out. It's a really subtle touch of the soft sea foam. Okay, so now I'm going to add, this is light gray granite. If I grab the right one, that's, oh, I checked my lid here. And I am going to lay in a little bit of light gray granite here. And then I'm going to put some on some of these wings, the stripes in the wings. Okay. And then I want to add a touch of dark fresh freesia. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add a little bit to my wings. Again, I'm not spending time to color and blend. That's okay. I don't have to do that. Now you could use the light freesia if you prefer. I kind of like the dark on this because of when I blend it out, it just bleeds out a little bit. All right, and then we're going to take the color lifter again. And I like to work in a circular motion, and I'm just going to go around the edge of this and kind of blend out. Can you see what it's doing? It's kind of feathering a little bit, which is kind of cute on a bird, right? So it's feathering that color out just a little bit. So it's not such a harsh line, but it still gives me that nice little touch of color that makes it look like the image is fully colored in, although it's not, right? It gives you that vibe of being colored. So this is just a nice alternate way to do some coloring, adding just a touch in there. Okay, and then as it dries, it changes up a little bit. So we're just going to go and color over those stripes a little bit, both the gray and the freesia, and kind of smooth those lines. Make it not quite so harsh, so drastic. Do a little blending there as well. Okay, that's it. That's all the coloring I'm going to do for my little images. Cute, right? Subtle. All right, so let's go ahead and cut these out. We're going to fussy cut these out with our scissors. So there are no dies for this particular set. But that's okay. You can spend a little bit of time fussy cutting. It doesn't take too long. The shapes aren't too bad to cut out. When I'm fussy cutting, I like to leave some, a little bit of color around the edge. You don't have to, or you can. And that's what's nice about this particular set is that you can leave as much white or as little white as you want to. And I try to move the paper versus the scissor. Doesn't always work for me, but I do get a better cut when I do it that way. All right, there's one set of leaves. Now you could clip those apart if you prefer. I'm going to leave them together. I'm going to be tucking these in, or at least two sets I'm going to be tucking in a little bit. I've got one I might be a little more careful with. All right, so who's a fan of fussy cutting that's watching? Do you enjoy it? I have my moments. Most of the time, no. But this one screams, fussy cut me. Give me lots of dimension. All right, so this one I'm going to try to make a little prettier in between my leaves. And I'll show you why, because I'm going to put it on the inside of my card. And it's not going to be hidden. Like nothing's going to be covering it. So it needs to look just a smidge nicer than what I've been doing, right? Not perfect. There is no perfection with what I'm doing here. All right, cute. Now I'm going to try to move that one aside so that I know that that's the one I want to put on the inside. And then we'll quickly cut out this little birdie. I didn't do any of this ahead of time because I wanted you to see how fast this really is. Now you could make this even quicker by not cutting it out. You could have stamped directly on a die cut circle or right on the card base and not cut all this out. I just like all the extra height and dimension. This is something that's fun to do. Like you're hanging out, watching a movie. This would be a good one to just sit and fussy cut while you're doing something like that. Just killing some time. Relaxing. All right, let's get this in here. All right, he's cut out. Finally, I got it all done. All right, I'm just going to scooch all my trash over to the side. It may still be in camera, but that's okay. All right, so we've got those pieces there. So next, I've got a vellum circle that I cut out with the fantastic new Deckled circles. Deckled circles, for whatever reason, I keep wanting to call them rectangles. They are obviously not rectangles. And I used this one, the fifth one up from the smallest is the one I use. But look at how many. You get a plethora of circles. I love it, love it, love it. And I love that there's some larger ones here. Look at that. That's going to cover the card front easily. Woohoo! Nice. Lots of fun things that we're going to be able to do with these. So these will be in the new catalog starting September 6th, or you can join my team and add them to your starter kit now, right? Right now, you can do it. All right, so I've got my circle here, and I'm going to bring in some linen thread. And I'm eyeballing, I'm just guessing. I want about 12 inches. I don't know if that's 12 inches or not. I'm going to guess. I'm pretty good with measurements here with guessing, but I can tell you on my original, I used about 12 inches. So I've got two pieces that are 12 inches long, and I'm going to tie these into little bows, big bows, whichever way you want to look at it. So I like to do my loops, crisscross. One goes in and comes back out. So, and then I'm going to just make this big. It's kind of a big loopy bow. All right, so there's one. Not quite centered, but that's okay. We can clip off what we don't need. And sometimes it's okay that one side is a little longer than the other. Works out nice for our card. So I'm tying these separate because I felt like the look I was going for that these weren't as chunky if I did that. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna flip one over so that the longer is to the left with the other one's on the right. That works, right? All right, so we're gonna take our little birdie. I'm gonna put some Stampin' Seal on the back. And then I'm just going to add these little ribbons behind. Just sticking it right in that seal. And they're right next to each other. You could overlap it a little bit if you want to. But how fun, that just is kind of a fun, messy, pretty, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so then we're gonna go ahead and pop this bad boy up onto that circle. So let's give some dimensionals in there. I like to grab the edge of the ribbon or twine or whatever I'm doing if I can, avoiding that knot a little bit there. Do I want some on the tail? I don't know that I need it on the tail. We'll go with 3 and we'll see how it is. We can always slide one underneath if we need to. All right, and then we're going to just plop this right here on this circle. All right, now these little pieces I want to tuck in behind. So we're going to grab a little bit of liquid glue. I got a new one, so it's oozing out very, very quickly. And we will get these tucked in just behind. Cute. Thought it kind of added a little fun texture to it, just adding a few little leaves behind there. Now, my dimensionals are keeping me from going where I want, so I'm just going to lift that up. And you could see that adhesive mess I'd already made, but I can cover all that up. Whoops. There we go. Now it's down. All right, so I'm going to set that aside, let that dry for a moment. Let's go ahead and work on the front of the card. So I've got my Gray Granite card base. It's just a half a sheet of cardstock. You can cut it in either direction, lengthwise or across the center, and get a full-size card base, right? So we got this. And I am going to go ahead and I've got my Settles Designer Series paper stack, and you can use any of these prints. I'm using the same color, but there's 10 different colors in there, 4 different prints. And I'm just going to lay this right here on the front of my card base. So it's a 2-inch strip right there. Okay. And then I've got 2 pieces because I'm repeating this on the inside. So I've got 2 pieces. I cut these 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I use this lovely little notebook edge to die cut the one side. Kind of fun, right? Then for the front piece, running it through the embossed brick 3D embossing folder. And then we get this fabulous texture, right? Now I'm going to tear this. I'm just going to tear the side. Now there is a die in this gorgeously made set, this one right here, which is a torn edge. So you could use this die and come back and cut the edge, but you would want to do that. If you do this, you want to do it before you add the texture, because once you run this back through your embossing machine, it's going to flatten out this texture if you do it before you die cut. All right, so I like to tear up towards me, so that I'm getting the texture that I want. So I'm flipping this upside down, lack of a better way to say it. And I am just going to tear away some of this front. So I have all this lovely, lovely texture going on. So let's see what that looks like if I would lay that down. Oh, I cut my piece too short. Ah, I hate it when I do stuff like that. Well, that's all right. We're going to make it work for this project today, because I'm not going to redo all of that. But I didn't intend to cut this at 5 1/4. I intended to cut it at 5 1/2. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to cheat, and I'm going to make my card a little bit shorter. I have my trimmer right here. And let's see, I did it on both of them. Yes, I did. So the whole card is just going to get trimmed off because it's going to make me crazy if I don't. So we are going to just trim off 1/4 inch. So no big deal. And now my card is just a smidge shorter. I'm okay with that. If that drives you nuts, you can recut your white layers, but I'm not doing it because I'm lazy and I don't think it's critical, right? We got to let some of these things go. All right. Now my piece fits perfectly after I took it away, right? All right, so before I put this on the front, I want to add some splatter to this. So I use an old paper pumpkin box to do my splattering. And so let's pull that in, and you can see it's kind of messy on the inside here, right? Got lots of inky stuff. And the reason I like to put things in a box is so that if my splatter goes a little rogue, because I can be a little crazy sometimes with it, that it doesn't get too messy. So I'm going to pull in my dark gray granite blend, and I'm going to use the brush tip. So I mentioned before, I don't use my brush tip when I color for the most part. I use the bull tip, which is the fine line. I use the brush tip for splattering. Now this is going to, I don't want to say destroy, but it doesn't keep the tip in mint condition. Let's put it that way. It will soften the tip and it will tend to fray out, but this works so well. I say that and then it's not working. What am I doing? There we go. I wasn't putting enough pressure. You do need quite a bit of pressure to get the splatter. So see that great splatter. So I'm just flicking the tip off the end, but you can probably see my tip is starting to fray out, but that's okay. I'm all right with that because I'm going to use this end of color. And then when it's done, I just get a new one. It's consumable. They're not terribly expensive, but look at that great splatter. So I put quite a bit on this one just to kind of show you. But I think it adds a really nice touch to the background. Just a little more depth and dimension. So you can do it or you don't have to. It's entirely up to you. And if that causes you stress to use blends to do that, you could always use a water painter, pick up some ink, and then tap it against your bone folder, right? Just tap, 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 and that will also splatter. There's tons of different ways to do splatter. That is my favorite, is with the blends, right? Okay. Just trying to bring this in and add this layer right on the front. Cute, 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 cute. So now that we can add our focal point, and I'm just going to put some liquid glue where the elements are going to cover it, right? So our glue will show through on vellum. So we want to be careful with our placement. And then I'm just going to slide this little guy. That looks pretty good right there. Just going to hold that down for just a moment. Let that attach itself. There's a lot of texture going on there. Cute, 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 cute. All right, so let's do our sentiment next. So I've got a piece of basic black and we're going to pull in our embossing buddy. So this is going to remove the oils from the surface so that when we do our embossing powder, it's going to stick where we want and not to where our hands had previously touched it, right? And I'm going to ink up the Just For You. So that's from that new So Sincere stamp set that will be available September 6th. And let's bring in our white embossing powder. We're just going to scoop up a little, shake off the excess. Okay. And then we'll use our heat tool to heat it up. So I'm going to turn this on off camera so that it gets warm. Okay. And then we'll just hold it right over the image and watch the magic happen. There it goes. Love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. All right. So next, I am going to bring in the Nested Essentials dies. I'm going to use this little banner right here. And we are going to cut this out. Now, this is a tight fit. So normally, when I'm showing you guys, I would have die cut this first and we would stamp on it, but it's a tight fit. So this one is best to stamp and then die cut. So we'll run that through the die cutting machine. And you've got our lovely little sentiment right there. Super cute. And we're just going to pop this. I love all the stitch detail. Can you see that? It's just got some double stitching all the way around. So fun. I love it. So let's add a couple dimensionals to that and pop this up. Perfect. Alrighty, and I'm going to put this right up at the top of the card base, over to the side. Cute, 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 cute. Let's add some gems. So I'm going to bring in the festive pearls, if I can see where I have buried them, which I have completely buried them. So these are a carryover from last year's holiday catalog, and I'm so glad that they did. So there's gold, silver, there's a seafoam. It's not seafoam. I think it's actually supposed to be soft succulent, but it goes really well with a lot of other of our colors. It blends in really nicely. And then we've got the red color. I'm going to use the gold for this project because that's what I decided I wanted to use. So I'm using gold today, and we're just going to sprinkle these on. I love that we can use multiples, right? Like this is such a small little pearl that you can put a whole bunch on if you want to, which I like. Putting 5 on. Love that. Okay, it looks like my birdie is not wanting to stick down. Give that another little pressure. That's where liquid glue makes me batty. I don't have patience for that. All right, cute, cute, cute. The front is adorable. So let's bring our design to the inside. So we're gonna do the same thing. We're gonna bring in our designer series paper, and we'll go ahead and put that down. And I trimmed that a little shorter when I trimmed the card base shorter. Okay, cute. And then I'm going to repeat the same thing by bringing that same torn paper look to the inside. So again, I'm going to flip it upside down. I'm going to do similar to what I did on the outside and just tear away that piece. And I'm going to rough up the edge because I like that look. And we'll add some adhesive, and then we will be done with that part. And you know what? I was going to stamp a sentiment on the inside here, and I don't think I set up that stamp. I'm pretty sure I didn't. And then I was going to add the leaf in here. So you could add the leaf without a sentiment, or you could add a sentiment on the inside. Let's see, what did I put in here? I did, hope your day is a happy one. Let's see if I've got that. If I buried it somewhere, we're not going to do it. But if I can find it, if I put it back in the stamp set, yes, it is. Okay, perfect. I'll go grab a block, and I'll show you how I set my blocks up anyway. That doesn't hurt a thing, right? See if we all do it a little different, don't we? To try to get them straight. Not always an easy thing to do. Okay, so I am going to take this and I'm going to eyeball it. I always eyeball it first. I probably should come up with a methodology that works a little bit better, but I don't. But this is what I do. I don't know how you guys do it. So you have to tell me if this is similar to what you do, or you're like, oh, when do you do it the hard way? Let me know. So then I will take a scrap piece of paper and I will use my block to line it up and see if it's straight. I did pretty darn good. I'm going with it. Yay! So I'm going to ink this up properly. I'll move my little leaf out of the way. Now, normally you would stamp your sentiment before you ever glue anything down, right? And then, of course, here's where I can't see the block to know that it's straight. Oh, and I caught an edge. That's awful. I would totally redo this. Totally redo this, and I will. I will probably either die cut something and put it on there, or totally tear this piece off and redo it. That would drive me nuts. Now you could try to salvage that. Let's see if we can. A couple different things we could try. We could try the color lifter and see if we could get the color to come up with that. Let's try that first. Let's see if we can blend some of that color out. To me, I think it just smudges it. But let's see if we can get some of it out. When it dries, what it looks like. Okay, we'll let that dry. I figure if I'm going to cover this anyway, it doesn't really matter what I try on it. Let's try our sand eraser. We pulled this out a few weeks ago. This is not something we sell at Stampin' Up. This is an Amazon product. Well, I'm sure you can get it lots of places. I got mine from Amazon. Actually, I got mine from a friend who got it from Amazon. Okay, it's lightening it. but not the best option, right? Not the best at all. So the other thing you could try to do is use a white gel pen or white craft ink and paint over the top of it. To me, it's not worth all that effort. I would much rather just get a new piece of white cardstock, and I'm going to do that. So we're just going to go ahead and cut it. Then cut a new piece. I will go ahead and tear my edge just like I did before. I don't have my notebook edge on it. I'll have to go back and do that, but let's try to stamp a new one. I could trim off the edge and layer it. That might be okay too. We'll see. See if I can do this without catching an edge. One more time, right? Let's go right there. I did much better that time. Yay. So yeah, just grab another piece. It'll all be good. Now, I could either rip this off, this piece that's on there off, or I could just lay this one right on top of it, which I cut it even shorter. What the hey, Wendy? Good grief. It's not my day. We'll redo it. We'll see. I could cover that with my leaves, but I was going to glue the leaves right by it. So we're going to let that one go. Wendy's going to have to fix that one on her own because it seems like I'm just making one mistake after another. So we'll fix that. So you guys know, right, that this kind of stuff happens, and sometimes you got to throw the piece away. Sometimes you add embellishments over it, or you could add die cuts. I could totally put the leaf up here and clip it off and do that, but that's not what I want to do. I will rip the piece off and do it because it's going to bother me. I could do this, right? That actually would cover it really, really well. So I could do that and then clip it off the top. What do you guys think? Maybe I'll do that. That one doesn't look so bad. Not what I wanted, but I'm going to do it. And then we'll just let this one go. Hey, Susan, so glad you're here. You're catching us when I'm making all the mistakes. I've had a lot of them today. This was not my day to craft, I guess. Sorry, I dropped it on the floor. I'm picking it up. But my arthritis it's gotten me today. Oh, it was the other way. Let's see if we can cover up my mess that I made. And then we'll just clip off and push that down. Oh, I'm uneven on all my layers. We're going to trim off all this excess. Yeah, I'm not measuring well today. I must not be seen very well. Or I'm in too big of a hurry. You know what it is? I have so much going on today. I leave tomorrow morning early for a Stampin' Up! Leadership event in Vegas, which I'm very excited to go. Hopefully I'll see some of you there, right? If you're a demonstrator, say hello. Yeah, I mean, look at that. I messed up on all of them. You know what it was? I assumed, right or wrong, I assumed I cut it at that 5 1/4, and I bet it wasn't quite that short. All right, I need to let it go before I make it worse. Okay, now if it bothers you, because since we had the mess and I cut it shorter because the layers were cut too short, you know, so you can see the card's a 1/4 inch shorter than normal. And that's because I messed up in my measurements. That doesn't hurt anything. But if that bothers you, you could cut a piece of cardstock that's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 and adhere this right to it. It would give you a kind of a base that would go behind it. So that would be cute as well. So, but don't make all my mistakes that I made. Do this. This really is a fast, easy card. You wouldn't know about what I showed you. Yes. Yes, we do definitely all make mistakes. Today was my extra of making mistakes, right? If there was a mistake to be made, I made it on today's project. But this way, you guys know all the things to avoid, right? Too funny. And it's funny because this card only took me literally a couple minutes to make. But I guess I was having a better stamping day than I am having today, right? All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that. And we'll give that stamp set a try. You could switch this if you don't have the stamp set and it's not one that you're wanting to get, although it's so cute. You could always use another image stamp right there and do the same layout. Let me give you a sneak peek. So this is the stamp set that we're going to be using for my September Stampin' Bingo and card class. So we have a lot of fun when we get together and do this. So I do it once a quarter, and We meet via Zoom. So you get to meet crafters all over the US. And there's some people that have returned over and over and over again because they love it so much and they've become friends with other attendees. So it's kind of fun to see that happening, those relationships building. But we will be using the bird's eye view stamp set. We have we'll play 6 games of bingo. You know, that's just fun, right? And some prizes will be had. And then we will make our cards. So these are the 3 cards that we're doing. Sherry, cute card, even with the mistakes, you can do something to make it right. Yes, yes, for sure you can. And that was the point of what I was trying to show you guys. So thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so here's the cards we're going to make at bingo. So we've got this cutie patootie, this one here, and then that one there. Cute. So we're going to take this same methodology of just adding a touch of color. Of course, they're your cards. You make them however you want to make them. I'm going to make them with just a touch of color like I did today. Hopefully not with all the errors. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you're enjoying the content, give me a thumbs up. Invite your crafty friends to come join us. I'd love to have people come over and hang out with us while we are crafting on Tuesdays. And yeah. So don't forget, join my email list if you want to keep up with everything that's going on. So yeah, hey, Susan. Yes, bingo is fun and great prizes. Yay, I think so too. And I'm glad that you guys are liking the cards. Good. Yeah, they're super cute. Lots of fun to make. So, all right. Thank you. You guys have a great week. And I will catch you next Tuesday for a little bit more.